Hey, what's up, guys? Tyson Robinson here. Today, I have the privilege of having Josh Sutton on this live stream with us today. So I'm excited to have Josh on. Welcome, Josh. Super stoked to have you and chat a little bit more about your journey and how everything's going in real estate for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So we'll kind of give people just a minute to start hopping on here. But essentially what we wanted to talk about today is, one, Josh is a newer agent with Trillion and just newer in the industry. And I feel like one of the questions that I get a lot amongst people thinking about getting into real estate is just what that journey looks like. And so I always love having people like Josh jumping on and just chatting about what that journey looked like for them, and what it takes to attain or have that success in real estate when you come from a totally different environment, totally different job, and what that looks like in terms of just getting into real estate. And because it's different for everyone. And most people, I think the number is over 85% of people that get their license do not continue with real estate. And I think a big part of that is a lot of people believe that real estate is easy and that it's going to be like you get your license and you get your logo, you get your everything set up, and then all of a sudden you start having all these people wanting to buy and sell their homes. And the reality is that it's not that easy. It takes a lot of hard work, and especially at the beginning, it takes time to really get traction, to build a base of people that trust you, like you, depend on you. And it takes some time to really just get that education so you could really effectively help others, whether it be sell their homes or buy their homes. And so what I love about Josh is that he hasn't been in real estate very long, but in my opinion, he's killing it. He's doing really good. And I think he is a great example of what it takes in order to find success in real estate. It really comes down to hard work. So to start off, Josh, if you could just tell us a little bit more about where you came from, what that transition looked like, and what you've learned in the short period of time that you've been in real estate.
Yeah, so I'm a transplant from Arizona originally, really just a small town, 7,000 people. And I learned at a very young age that there's not too much potential, that I really capped out at a young age there. I was always a go-getter. And just know that I needed to change my location to be successful. So didn't really know what exactly it was going to be, but ended up having a really bad night. I was a bartender by trade, had a really bad night one night, and my cousin Heather, who's a realtor, she just happened to be in town, and I went to her. She was living in California, so I just went up to her frustrated. What do I got to do? What's my next move? I need help, immediately signed me up for real estate school. Had no idea what it was about. She gave me a timeline. I finished school in California, and my journey started. So had every goal, aspirations to be the next big realtor here. This is probably 2013. Moved here, and just a culture shock. I come from a town that's 7,000 people to a town that's, obviously a lot larger than that, and it took a little while to get my bearings. Started with real estate, and I almost ended up being one of those numbers at 85%, because as soon as I jumped into real estate, it was spinning off my shoulders. It was just, it was the right time. Jumped into some people that were going to be my mentors, but really didn't really care about progressing me through this, and no hard feelings, but it just wasn't the time for me. So I ended up going back to what's comfortable, and that was bartending. So did that, something I was good at, made good money, and I was just comfortable. And that's what I realized during this journey, is that I had a habit of sticking to what was comfortable. Comfortable is easy. I know what to expect every day. It wasn't until this last year that really had to make it to where I didn't feel comfortable anymore, and that was the only way I was going to succeed. But in my bartending career, I ended up going into operations and I was buying stuff for resorts, and ended up out in Dana Point as director of operations for a Hilton property out there, and driving over the Ortega, spending no less than 80 hours a week at work, driving 50 hours a month, sleeping at the hotel. Really, really trying time. I learned a lot, but it was, I put way more into it than I got out of it. But
so how long ago was that?
So I was out in Dana Point about 2 years ago. I started 2 years ago out there.
Okay, so you got your license. Were you saying that you got it just before that because you went back to that?
I got my license when I moved to California, 2013.
Oh, so it was a little bit. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and when I jumped into real estate, it just didn't seem like it was the right time for me. It was, I just wasn't ready for it, I guess, So it was a little bit more than I expected, and I was nervous. I was scared. I went straight back to what was comfortable, and progressed from there. So after, long story short, after I got through Dana Point, coming back and forth, and it was just killing me. It really was killing my social life, my personal life. It was just everything. It was just killing me all around. And COVID happened. So it really forced me to put things back into perspective. I was forced to be around the people that I love and care about, which I never really had the chance to, because I was literally living my life through FaceTime, through this. I was talking to my family through this, always at work, and really put things into perspective for me,
So was it a combination of that commute, that annoying commute, and having to put in those long days and so forth, on top of, I guess, maybe that drive of just being able to control your destiny a little bit more that caused you to jump back into real estate?
I was putting way more into it than I was ever going to get out of it, and it's kind of I'm dedicated to a fault, and I have crazy work ethic, but I was putting all that in for other people to see the success. And I was moving up through the company. I was doing really well, being recognized, but I always knew that I was never going to get that time back, and I needed to take a step back before I could take 2 steps forward. And really, like you said, just kind of take my destiny into my hands. And it was just kind of a random morning. I woke up and I had my real estate license just sitting on my nightstand, which I don't know why it was always there, but I just had it on my nightstand. Really kind of bummed out that I was going to go, an hour and 15 minutes to work and have a bad day, all this stuff. And it literally just hit me. And I said, why didn't I ever do anything with that?
Yeah.
Why all the time? I, moved out here for that. And what am I doing? Nothing. So I called Heather, my cousin Heather, and asked her, what's it like? What's going on? Because no matter what, you should always have your license. I called and I actually let it expire, which was really fortunate because it was within 1 month I let it expire. I called them, and due to COVID, they gave me a 60-day extension, and I jumped right on it. I said, I got my 45 hours of continuous education, and that was my sign right there. I said, there's something here for me. So did that. As soon as I was done with school, with the 45 hours, I reached out, started talking to people, and started dipping my toe back into real estate.
That's awesome. So cool. And ever since, I know ever since that I've seen you working the market and just jumping in with Trillion, I definitely have seen how dedicated you are and just how committed you are. And I guess from what you're saying right now is you've always been pretty committed. Once you put your mind to something, you go for it. How many deals have you closed over the last few months?
So two that are completely done. I have a few in the works. I'm supposed to close today. We're having a little issue with a lender, but it's the market. It's how things are going. A lot of moving parts, obviously. So we're supposed to close Friday, and then yesterday, and now hopefully today. And then quite a few things. My pipeline's filling up pretty quickly. So I'm pretty active on taking out buyers. We're putting in offers. It's just a tough market to get things accepted right now.
Definitely. But I think what I've seen and realized, and my first year, and I think I've probably shared this multiple times, my first year, I think I did 8 transactions. And for a brand new agent, and I think you'll probably, you'll likely do more than that, 2021, it's like what it really comes down to is showing up every single day and just putting in the work, putting your head down, showing up to the office, learning, prospecting, marketing, like doing all of those things that you need to do in order to progress within real estate. And the reality is, like, some people take off really quick to where they can hit like 20, 30 transactions in the first year. That's like unheard of. That rarely happens. But in my opinion, the best way to really build a strong long-term business is you jump in, you do it the right way, you work very hard. You may hit 6, 7, 8 transactions. You may even hit more than that. But the reality is that first year is going to be the hardest year of your life when it comes to working in real estate. Each and every year after that should get easier and easier if you're doing it the right way. And I know that you're doing it the right way. And if you continue to work hard and just show up and be consistent, whatever you end up closing this year, let's say it's 10, next year I know you'll easily hit 15, 20, and next year even more than that. And that's the why so many people, or so many I guess people that get licensed in real estate end up quitting, is because they think it's like easy money. 3 months, they're going to close all these deals and they're just rolling in dough. And the reality is, more than 95% of the people, you're barely surviving the first year, maybe even the first few years. You've really got to put in a lot of hard work in order to start seeing those successes, to the point where 10 years down the line, hopefully you've got this amazing business that just continues to give back, because you have built a certain type of reputation and you have the experience, you have a strong base, and all of a sudden you have that strong base referring you business, and all of a sudden your business just continues to flow almost like clockwork because of all that work that you put in year 1, year 2, year 3. But each and every year it should get better and easier if you're doing it the right way, taking good care of people. One of the things that bugs me the most is when I see agents that are all in it just for the money. And when you're in it for the money and that's it, your life as a realtor is probably limited, right? Like, you're probably not going to last very long in real estate. And if you do, year 10, 15, you're still going to be hustling hardcore, and you're not going to have a business that is flowing, because your business does not have that base of good, strong relationships, because you've only cared about the money aspect of the business. And people feel it, people see it. And if that is anyone's intention in real estate, the other side is always going to be able to see it. And guess what? When they go to sell their house or buy another house, they're probably not going to call you back. And that's why it's so important, and why I love how you're just working hard, because you're doing it the right way. And you might not hit no crazy 30 transactions in your first year. Maybe you do. But as long as you keep working hard every day, like I've seen you over the last number of months, next year's going to get better. 2 years from now is going to even be better. And it's just going to keep getting better each and every year. Is there anything from, like, that's pretty impressive though, for you to come from Arizona and not really have much of a base here in the Temecula area. I know we've talked about that before and you alluded to that. So what have you been doing in order to start creating a bit of a base and prospecting? What does that look like?
Well, it's like you said, it's just about creating a good foundation first. And I'm looking, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, and what can I do now that's going to benefit me then? And I think that you hit on some of the people that are in here just money hungry and just doing it. Obviously, there's a lot of money to be made if you do it right. Some people are killing it, some people aren't. But I think that if people that are going into it with only the mindset of making their bank account higher and that's it, they're kind of part of the problem of why things get so difficult. But to me, if we can build a solid foundation, do everything with ethics. I literally look at a family and I'm so excited. It's the best thing when you hand over keys to this family that probably couldn't have done it without you, and it's such a gratifying, satisfying part of it, I feel that consistency is my number one thing, my number one key to success right now is, yeah, I could probably stay at home and do, a lot of the things that I'm doing, but I don't stay focused. I'm not motivated. It's easy for me to stand up and go grab something to eat or go turn the TV on or whatever it is. Ever since I started coming to the office on a regular basis, I'm starting to see my success grow. And I'm just trying to stay consistent with starting to farm neighborhoods, something that I'm just getting into, but I'm excited about it because we're starting to see, anyone that I'm closing, I want to farm that neighborhood. I'm sure that neighbors have seen me in the neighborhood before because I'm in there in the inspections and handing over the keys and all those things. And when they get a little postcard that has my name on it, they're going to recognize me. So building that foundation, but I really am. I'm a student right now. Is the way I'm looking at it. I'm asking questions constantly. I don't claim to know everything. I don't act like I know everything, but it's being teachable and teaching on a regular basis. And I'm surrounded by people that have been doing this for a lot longer and a lot better at it than me. And me continuing to do that will only progress me quicker through all of this.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's so true. And I think that's the problem some people do have getting into real estate is they don't realize like how important it is to continually learn each and every day. Some people just, I don't know if it's ego or whatnot, but it's like if you strive to learn and improve each and every day, even if you've been in the business 5, 10, 15 years, naturally, you're going to be better at your craft. Naturally, you're going to figure out better systems. Naturally, you're going to figure out better processes to more effectively serve your clients and build better and stronger relationships. It's the people that really don't realize that struggle year after year is they usually don't strive to continue to learn, and they act like they know everything from day one, and then they never learn anything else, and then they just plateau. Like their business never gets better. So I love what you said. It's like we all need to be sponges. And I don't care if you're year 1 of real estate or you're 10 in real estate. You need to always be learning, adjusting, pivoting. And if you do that, each and every year, you'll continue to get better and you'll see the number of transactions follow because organically you're putting in that effort, you're learning and you're putting into practice things that are going to allow you to be more effective within your business and with your clients and so forth. But that's awesome. I think it's all about hard work. There's that saying that, every time it's the person that works hard than the person that's just smart. Or what's that saying? I can't think of that saying off the top of my head. But it's all about that hard work. Hard work is going to win smarts every time. And I would say that 9 times out of 10, there's so much more people more capable than me, in my opinion, that maybe are smarter, just better socially with people, or just amazing people. But I would say in most cases, I'm going to out hustle. I'm going to outwork them. It has nothing to do with how amazing I am, how smart I am. It has everything to do with how hard I work. And that's gonna take you a long way for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I really am looking at building long-term relationships, and that's exactly what this is a relationship business. And you never know. I mean, whether it's a listing agent, if it's a client, if it's the next door neighbor, regardless of the situation, it's a relationship business. You never know when you're going to run into that person. You never know when you're going to need a favor from that person. In this crazy market, it's kind of who you know right now and what you can do to get in. And that's really what I'm trying to focus on. And little things like I try to work with as many renters as I can. And I know people out there's no money in it, and I get it. But it's not necessarily my number one motivation is the money part. We spoke about this before. My business plan was to try to place 12 renters this year. And my goal in that is to have those renters in for a year or so and turn 12 renters, it's 12 buyers. And if, and even if it's, 4 or 5 a year, the other people want to do a 2-year lease, that's fine. It's still five more leads that I'm going to go out and sell a house for, down the road, they're going to refer me. And I've already gotten a bunch of referrals from, they're renters, but just word of mouth, just because I've taken care of some people. And it's a crazy market right now. They're literally reaching out for some help, and it's tough work, but it is satisfying when you are able to place them. And I know it'll come around, and it won't be my first year because I'm just putting them in, but I know for a fact that in 2 years' time, it'll come tenfold back to me.
Dang, I love that, because that says everything just about your humility and your personality and character. Is if you're willing to work with renters, a lot of realtors will not even give the time of day to people that are looking to rent. And the reason for that is there's just no money in it, right? But again, you're looking at the long term. I mean, imagine if you were to help 30 people into rentals in 1 year, or let's say even what you were saying, 10 to 12. Guess what? Those 10 to 12 people are going to so appreciate the work you put in for them. I bet you anything, those are going to turn into buyers, and those are going to turn into sellers, because it's all about those relationships that you build. And if I'm new in real estate, if I were starting over, I hope and I think I would try to do whatever I could to help anyone looking to rent or anything, because I know that in any way that I'm helping them, that's going to provide for an opportunity to really build a good, strong relationship to where they now see me as their real estate advisor for when they are ready to buy. So that's awesome. Josh, we've got 8 minutes here, about 8 minutes. Let's talk a little bit about the real estate market and what we're experiencing. The market obviously is crazy. I haven't been on for a few weeks, so I feel like I haven't given much of a good update on one of our Tuesday lives, but just to follow up with previous Tuesday lives, the market is continuing to it's crazy. Last year, we saw an increase of around 15% in most markets in our area. Inventory is hovering around 1 month of inventory, which is way below what the norm is for a healthy, just normal market. It's a hardcore seller's market. We should be closer to 3 to 4 months for a healthier, balanced market. So we're expecting prices to jump another 15% or so this year, which, guys, what that means is if today you're buying a house for $600, at the end of the year, think about that, 5% of not 5%, but let's say even 10%, that's $60,000 of appreciation in another year. I think it's unhealthy how quickly things are moving upward. What are your thoughts? What are you seeing, Josh?
I'm seeing the same thing. I mean, people are buying a house 2 years ago and making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 equity, just flipping them. Houses are $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over asking. It's crazy, and I don't know when it's going to slow down, but at some point, I think it's got to. Like you said, it isn't healthy just because it's a continuous climb, and I don't see it slowing down until rates kind of start going up. But it's crazy out there. I mean, you do one open house, or you drive by an open house, and there's 50 people standing outside, and it's just man. And it's that goes back to what I'm saying with it's a relationship business. The only way that you're going to even compete in any of those is, hey, like maybe I know someone who knows someone who knows someone. Hopefully that works, but it is crazy, and it's I don't know if people are in a mad dash. Just they weren't able to buy before, but now the rates are low, so now they're able to. Some people are buying an investment property now because they refi, and now they're able to have a rental property. All in all, it's just crazy, and I haven't experienced the other market, but I know that this is organized chaos right now.
Organized chaos. I don't even know if it's that organized, but yeah, it is definitely crazy, and it's an interesting time to get into real estate, right? Because you really have to work hard to get your offers accepted in this market, just because of how much competition there is. Why don't you share a little bit about the open house that you did over the weekend, and just the activity that you had, because I think that's pretty crazy. And guys, keep in mind, this open house, it was a modified open house because of COVID. So it was essentially people showing up and setting up an appointment to see the home. You are allowed to do open houses, but it's got to be a scheduled open house with one party at a time type of environment. But anyway, tell me, how did that go? And I'd imagine that was pretty crazy, because I know you guys said we had somewhere around 100 people through that house over the weekend.
It was, so it's open house COVID styles. I was joking around all day, but I set up a table outside, had to organize everyone coming in and out, because you have just carfuls of people just showing up, and there's 20 people standing on the lawn, and all, chomping at the bit to get inside, but trying to keep everything organized. But you still have the look-throughs, you still have the people that drive by that don't have any agents, and I make them sign a PED form. They have to sign in, and then I walk them through the house. So then I hopefully will gain their business down the road. But it was just crazy, because it wasn't just realtors that were coming. All the neighbors were coming in. They were, what's going on in this house? My house has, just as good of upgrades. What can I sell my house for? And it just creates a buzz in the neighborhood. Everyone, it's like a block party. People are just looking around, and neighbors are coming out and checking it out. And one of the neighbors was really nice. He came over and was chit-chatting with me, and he's like, "This is a zoo. This is crazy right now." And I said, "You're right." But it's just one of those things we're trying each and every day. We talk about it in the office all the time. Like, what is everyone doing? How are you getting success? And these open houses, I'm hoping are maybe a small ticket back to kind of normal life, and we continue to do them, because it's a fun way to spend your Saturday. It really is. It's crazy, but do it over again.
You need to keep it going. I don't think there's very many agents out there doing them right now. And as long as you do it the right way and take the precautions you need to, it seems like, and it sounds like, a lot of neighbors and stuff coming by, those are great listing opportunities and referral opportunities. And you know how it goes in real estate. It's all about relationships. And the more relationships you build, the more business you'll be able to do, because it's obviously a relationship business. So, wow, that's cool. And I'm thanks for sharing about that. I think that gives a little bit of insight into just how absurd and how crazy this market is. And just to kind of go off of that, did you feel like that open house, I mean, obviously you said it was a bit chaotic. Do you feel like you were able to build some relationships through that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we go back to relationship business, I felt like I was creating relationships with everyone, whether it's their clients, not trying to poach them or anything, but I was talking to them. They were coming up to me asking about the house. Agents were coming up to me and really trying to get to know me, because I was doing the open house, and maybe that's their way into getting their offer accepted, or whatever their motive may be. But yeah, we just spent a whole day of just hanging out in the front yard. It was a beautiful day. It's been super nice here in California. So it was great, and we exchanged cards. They're coming up to me, I'm handing them my card, they're handing them my, back and forth. And I felt afterwards, I knew, 60 more agents than I knew yesterday. And, and maybe down the road, it'll be something that I stumble upon one of their listings. And I walk up and they remember me, or I give them the card and they remember my card or something. And yeah, all in all, it was, it's kind of cutthroat out there, but you have to, I had to tell some people to play nice, because everyone had an 11 o'clock, and everyone, 10 people had a 1 o'clock, they said. And I'm like, come on guys, let's be adults here. But other than that, it was stressful for some, because, you have a 15-minute time slot and you have 10 houses to look at, you have to be on time and all that. But other than that, I think it was a great success. Whether a listing comes out of it, or a new client comes out of it, I think ultimately just the relationships that I built that day were well worth it, and I want to continue to build on that.
Heck yeah, love it. Well, good work, Josh. I definitely see how hard you are working, and I think it'll continue to pay off. I think you're going to have a great first year, or I guess you could say a first full year in real estate. I think you're definitely on the right track. Just to finish this off, because we're already at 3:30, if you had any sort of tips, whether it be just one tip or 3 tips, what would your tips be for someone watching this that is thinking either about getting in real estate, or maybe they are already in real estate? What do you think? What pops in your mind as most important to really taking your business to the next level? And maybe it is just hard work, like we've been talking about. But what would you say 1 or 2 of those tips might be?
I say first and foremost, consistency. I think that if you try something and it doesn't work, you got to keep going. You got to get your name out there. You got to get in your comfort zone too. You know, these things are the most comfortable thing for me to be on the internet and do this, or blast my face all over Facebook with mailers or this, whatever. But it's getting out of your comfort zone, and it's really putting yourself out there, being consistent, and things that are, like I mentioned earlier, I stayed comfortable for most of my life, and I was going to back what was comfortable, and I was seeing the same result. You have to change that. You have to, if it's a little bit at a time, just dip your toe a little bit each day and just be consistent, keep moving forward. It does get easier. I promise you that it does. It's surround yourself with good people, ask questions. Really, those are the main things that I've seen success in right now. And I wake up every day thinking, well, what else can I do today? I need to do A and C because I did that yesterday, but now I need to add another one, and just kind of really keep building on that.
Love it, dude. That's so good. I think most of the Trillion team, they make fun of me, and because they tell me that how I have that saying of get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I really think that that's a huge key, like you were saying, is like a lot of times we just want to be comfortable, relax, but that's not when we're going to see the most growth. And that's not going to be when we learn the most and take our businesses to the next level. We're going to be able to take our business to the next level when we're doing those things that we don't want to do, period. We need to be one of the 1% that is doing things differently, the difficult things. We're waking up earlier, we're working harder, we're putting ourselves out there on videos like this and not really caring what other people think. I think a lot of people have a hard time even putting out video because it's difficult. And there's so many other things along those lines. Like you just got to put in the work, keep doing it, get uncomfortable in any moment that in my mind, I get the pushback in my mind, because it really is a mindset thing where it's like, Tyson, just take it easy. You don't need to go on a run today. Whenever I get that thought, it makes me think I need to go run for sure, because I want to conquer that thought, that mindset. I want to be stronger than that, I guess you could say, thought of being lazy. And if we can conquer that, you're going to be part of that 1 to 5% of people that do things in an extraordinary way. The whole, obviously, extraordinary is all about living like no one else. So you live like no one else, which is what Dave Ramsey says. Live like no one else, and you will live like no one else, meaning you're going to live your life with a lot more abundance, wealth, everything, happiness, etc., if you're willing to live your life like no one else. And so anyway, love that. Love what you said, Josh. You're a rock star. Thanks again for jumping on. I know you're going to continue to have a lot of success. And I think that's really the secret formula to just having success in anything, including real estate. And we love having you at Trillion. So thanks again for jumping on with us today.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on our Tuesday Live. Hopefully you guys got a little something out of it. Feel free to reach out to ourselves. Find Josh, follow him, build a relationship with him. He's an amazing guy. And we look forward to seeing you hopefully next week. I've been slacking a little bit. It's been crazy out there, like Josh was saying. I think we closed 15 deals last month, and I think we're on track to close around that, if not more, this month. So it's just a crazy real estate market, but I'll make sure that I try to jump on here as much as I can. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good one.
Hey, guys.